Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Trackmania. We are here. It is Tuesday at 7 p.m. here, 8 p.m. for the rest of my fellow cohorts in the stream. I'm your host, as always, TMScotsman. Turbo looks like he's shaved today, or maybe it's a doppelganger. I'm not sure. But anyway, we're glad to have every one of you back. And today's kind of podcast, we'd look forward for once instead of complaining about everything that's happened. But I mean, I suppose that's our niche. You know, you come to us for the rants and you stay for, the visual aspect, shall we say. But regardless, I hope everyone's doing well. Of course, this week's podcast, as always, is brought to you by esac.gg. And, of course, the two beautiful people alongside me also helping to bring this podcast to a shortly. I'm going to start with you. Your first and most important question of the day is, how are you doing? And I hope your week this week has been less stressful than the last.
I can't believe I'm finally first instead of second for once, but my week was pretty nice, to be honest. I'm feeling actually way better today. I think it's finally at the point where I'm like kind of almost like normal again. University is normal as usual. I'm not really going there, but you know,
Okay.
I'm doing the minimum amount of work I can, but I'm doing something, so it's fine. It's fine. I was there today, at least. You know, it's something. It's something. I started learning a new keyboard layout 2 days ago, so then I got that going.
Okay.
It was a good week, you know. I played some Trackmania. I finally streamed again. Everything was good for me, so I can't really complain. Kai, how Kai, how does it like? First of all, Kai, how does it feel to be second and not first? And how was your week? I heard that you're playing Trackmania with gamepad again finally.
Yeah, but it looks like I wanted to show that Marius, but when I play, it looks like this when I play with gamepad. I'm like this because I have to. I play like this, so I have, like, how would this look when I play? And it actually hurts like after 3-4 rounds. That's how I skipped Call of the Day today when I was playing with keyboard. I swapped, so it is not too good. But yeah, I mean, to be fair here, actually you were second because Scotty was in front of you. But hey,
I'm always number one.
Yeah, you're always number one. But yeah, I'm doing great. Just a bit stressy the other days. I just did a lot of things done yesterday and today. Yeah, I was working on a video, 3 hours of me being a perfectionist, didn't even get the intro done. Very nice. That's why I hate making videos, but I think I just have to overcome this threshold that I know I can do it, and I get just better at this point. But yeah, I'm doing great. I'm feeling pretty relaxed. Also waking up a bit earlier that I get things done. But yeah, Paul, how is it going for you?
I suppose kind of the opposite for me. I mean, I'm waking up later because I'm working later. I mean, some of the events I'm doing are finishing at like 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, yay, I'm having fun, you know. But I can't complain. I've got a great job, you know what I mean? I love doing it. And also next week I am going to be away, so you guys are going to have to fend for yourselves next week. I actually kind of forgot to tell you guys. So now you're learning. Yeah, now you're learning.
Maybe we can invite someone else then.
There you go.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Let's invite someone else.
Slowly replace Scott.
Maybe Hans. Hans could be a good idea.
Oh yeah.
Also to interview him, because he's now joining into casting and stuff, and maybe we can talk about that.
He's
how he likes
as well.
Yeah, he was casting with me.
I didn't know.
Grand League.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice that. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
Exactly. Scracken says you would have noticed next week anyway, even if I didn't tell you. But yeah, I'll be going away to work at an event.
SOK also would be a good idea, actually.
For a full week, I will be working at a LAN event, so that will be cool. Which will be nice to get back into the flow of things for LAN. So yeah, all good. Next week, as I said, kind of working holiday, so to speak. So that'll be nice. But yeah, all's been good so far this week. Had a nice weekend, and getting told to start my Christmas shopping already because we're getting to that time of year, guys. We're getting to that time of year.
Yeah, it's actually
I see the
interesting.
horror on Shorty's face
Wow,
there.
true though. But
It actually is a horror.
you were mentioning it. It's like only 3 weeks till the Christmas time is like starting. Initially, it was like September 1 month ago. It's always going so quickly. But what I really liked about that you said it's like working holidays. You know, you put those words that are usually not fitting together, and that really shows that you like your job. So very cool to see that. Happy for you, and also that LAN events are returning again. But we're gonna talk about LANs in just a second, as we can maybe go ahead and start with the recap of the Trackmania Grand League, which was taking place. Of course, step number 4, we have the halftime Trackmania Grand League Challenger and Trackmania Grand League. We're having their 4th step. So let me quickly open that here. So I mean, let's just give you my impression. Of course, Pack has gotten himself a multiplier at ×3.
Yay.
It didn't look too bad for him. His first multiplier. The only player who is missing out on a multiplier is, I think, Tween, or if I was recalling it. So someone in the
still not had a multiplier, I'm sure.
He's the only player, and then Kappa and Spam had like a really low one. But those players are still missing out on that, and it looks very close between the players. I mean, Papu, 306 points, Binks, 284, P11 and P12, and then there's Spam, 177 points, but also he has played quite okay, and I think everyone can still make it even to that first place. Binks with a good step, 400 points, and he was the most unlucky player that I've ever seen in the entirety of my whole casting Trackmania Grand League. He got a bug there on the plastic. He throws so many things away. He was always in the top 8. He played such an incredible race, and then he had 8 points or something like that on that last map. This guy, I'm feeling so bad for him, because Binks is doing a great job. But in general, I mean, now we have seen 4 steps, the multiplier. What do you think about that? Let's actually talk about that.
We're going into that. We're going into
just
that again.
A little bit, because it's developing, you know?
Yeah, still not a fan of it, to be honest. I mean, just because like Pack has finally got a multiplier now doesn't really make me feel any better about it. But I mean, yeah, it's what I can say about it. I've really already said. You know, when I look to see who's going to be the best players throughout the step. Because if I'm going to be placing predictions about who's going to finish well in the playoffs, I'm not going to look at what position they finished in this league. I'm going to look at what position they would have finished if there was no multiplier. You know, so I think that kind of tells you everything you need to know about how I feel about it.
It's kind of interesting to see the difference between Gwen when he's not trained and Gwen when he has like holidays. I think he had the holiday week or something, and the change is like night and day.
Yeah,
he's such a beast. Also with the multiplier, I mean, it was risky. It really was risky. Like you could really see that even he was struggling to get it, but in the end he managed to do it. But damn, imagine Gwen not getting it. That would have been such a big interesting story. But yeah, and also Binks. But also for Binks, like I think last week I said how much I liked the map from Kiesler, and since I'm also kind of always looking at from the mapping perspective now more, I gotta say, like the fact that he got a bug is obviously really unlucky, and it's also on Nadeo, but it's also on Keystar for putting the block there. Like there was no need to do it. There was no need to have that custom block there. Just having the normal one without any edge there would have been fine.
Yeah, we had that
cancel Kiesler.
In the chat, yeah.
No, did not cancel, but you know, I mean, I don't know. It's just saying, you know. I mean, I made worse mistakes than that. You know, just pointing it out here, just saying, just you know. Why
but I
not?
think also players were aware of that, but of course, then the plastic bounce is.
Yeah, it wasn't really a normal plastic bounce. It was definitely a bug, you know. And you know, like also Muda, for example, like he drove over the exact same edge, the exact same way, and didn't get it. It just was something that definitely was unlucky.
Is this the part where we shout out Shorty for having an opinion, like he was complaining about last week?
Oh, he's completely right. I didn't even get wind of that.
I know.
Because, you know, Pack was actually P5 or P6. And then I was just seeing Binks going into the first barrier. And I was like, hey, what is happening there? And then he just went out. I, in general, think that this is still the best map. Yeah, from my opinion. But, of course, now this changes it a bit. I really like the new map that has been released with the jumps and all of those things. This map looked awesome. In general, all maps looked very good, to be honest. Also, the map on the edge that has been replaced by the other map now, also super nice map. The only map that is bad is Vertigo, in my opinion, but that is just not my playing style with the pipes and stuff. But the rest was really good.
Let me pick you guys' brains about something that's happened over the weekend as well, but not specifically Trackmania Grand League. As the Challenger Leagues, I find we kind of overlook this a little bit throughout the weeks. And the kind of sense, I think there's two important things I really kind of wanted to talk about it. Not long topics by any means, but first of all, the little comparison. I forget who does it on Twitter, but puts out a comparison each week, and it shows what points you would have got if they'd combined both of the races together. So if you combine TMGL with TMGLC, who would have got first to 16th? And throughout the weeks, there is obviously a very strong bias towards the Trackmania Grand League players. Of course, these players are the best players in the world, but I was kind of surprised by the lack of, penetration, shall we say, I saw from the Challenger players into top 5 of an overall leaderboard between the two, and this is even going into the lap times for the multiplier stage as well. So I mean, it seems to be that there is almost a bigger gap than ever between the Trackmania Grand League players. Or shall I rephrase this? We've seen a lot of players from Trackmania Grand League complaining about how it's how this is all playing out, and you have seen it affect some of their performances. Either they're not putting in as much effort, they're not as focused, they're not as on the ball. They've not got that cutting edge to them. But still, you're still seeing quite a reasonably large advantage, and Trackmania Grand League Challenger players are struggling to get anywhere near the times that the people are getting in Trackmania Grand League.
Yeah, I mean, a player like Mime, for example, he said that he maybe also does not have to like risk and push so much compared to when he was playing in the Trackmania Grand League. Of course, you can compare it, but I think also to a certain extent, because the skill gap is quite high in the Trackmania Grand League Challenger compared to the Trackmania Grand League. And if a player like Mime was now, who has also a lot of world records and a lot of top 3 times, would be in the Trackmania Grand League, I think he would also excel his pace up, and of course tends to make more mistakes, but then of course also gets like 2 to 3 very great rounds. But yeah, the skill gap is quite high, and I was also like, I have that open. I was actually searching this sheet for so long, and yesterday night I was finding it finally. It's just very good. Not Camus making that, someone else doing it. But yeah, it's incredible like how high the level is in the Trackmania Grand League, what you often really oversee.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a combination of multiple factors, right? I mean, obviously, Mime is maybe one of the few people out of the Challenger League that maybe could contend within TMGL, but obviously him being in that kind of position with the kind of point system and stuff, there's obviously no need for him to push for those kind of times, even if he, in theory, might be the one of the few ones that is capable of doing that, just because the skill gap is so big in the Challenger League. I mean, the Challenger League in general has a couple of players that are more of maybe not already like shown that they are what they are capable of, but just in general some players that were picked because of like being like new talents. So they are still in like developing themselves. So you can't really expect them to like have the same pace. So obviously, if you're in this situation playing against those kind of players, you're just saving obviously then, because you're going to be faster than them. So no reason to risk anything. But yeah, obviously as well, TMJ is just on a whole another level, obviously, right? No doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, here's the thing when we talk about the Trackmania Grand League Challenger players. This is the second kind of point I wanted to address as well. How long until Revo is banned from TMGLC?
Yeah, I mean, I'm already memeing about that as well. And also Enix was doing that. We were like, oh, look, Revolution, not last. And yeah, it's sad to see him picking a spot away, whether it's from Carl, from Dexter, or anyone else, maybe even from Shorty, because Shorty would also do better and put in more effort than
I
Revolution
would do
is
better,
right now.
and I don't even have the game.
Yeah, I'm not known for putting in a lot of effort, but I would definitely put in more effort than he is doing.
Yeah, it's sad to see that a former Trackmania Grand League driver who is capable, and that's why you're also saying that, Paul, is unfortunately not putting in the effort, because he could battle it out for the top 5. He could go back into the Trackmania Grand League if he wanted to, but unfortunately he's not performing that well. But we have other players who are performing quite good, which is great to see. that we have newcomers that are also coming. Of course, Mime now hitting the 1,000 point barrier and also kind of has understood the system, even though he could have gone for a ×5 or a ×4 in the step. He went for a ×3 because his goal was just going over 1,000 points. He had a small whoopsie on that by just saving the ending and failing it. Also on the map by Kiesler but it was not a bug. But he's now at 1,000 points. And then also Otak. Yeah, Otak, a player that has on Vertigo didn't take the ×3 multiplier, and without that he would have been very close, or with that he would be very close to Otak. But those two look almost safe in the top 4 already. I mean, Otak is doing great. Also Hedra, very surprised seeing him in the top 3. Very cool as well. Then Evon behind, as expected. And then, Mi Quattro falling a bit behind, top 8 for him. But else than that, maybe Nixotica for me was a player that I put a bit further up, as well as Soldier. And then Razi also with a good comeback, but the rest kind of expected, as well as I expected Wolside to do very good. He's top 6 right now.
Well, I'm not really too surprised about Revolution. Like, not trying to bash Revolution in general, but you know that Revolution is also one of the players that is also not always super motivated. You already have seen that in I think, was it beta season of TMGL, or was it the first season, one of the two? And
First season.
and you have to understand that even though we already said that how much we like the idea of TMGLC now existing, you also have to see that there are 16 players. It's also, even if you don't train fully for it, it's still a lot of effort. And the possible gain of TMGLC is also not that high, considering the competition is kind of tough. So you have to understand that there are going to be dropouts, and maybe Revolution is just the one where you see it the most. Other people already might be in the, at least in their head, I don't really have a chance here, but I'm still just competing a little bit for fun here and there. There's just not that much incentive for a player that knows, oh yeah, I'm not really gonna do good here, to really grind it. Unlike TMGL, where you have money on the line. I mean, yes, you can get a spot into TMGL, but there are not that many spots for that. So it's understandable that there are gonna be a couple of people that are gonna be like Revolution, and maybe it would be nice to find a solution for that in a way. But also, maybe it's not even that bad if it's the way it is. I'm not.
Here's the way I see it, right? I mean, I've been around Revolution for a long time. I've been around a lot of these kind of players for a long time, especially through. I mean, Shorty, we've played a lot of TMPLs together. I think you've played in all of them, if I'm correct.
TMPL, I dropped out because I injured my wrist at some point.
Oh yeah, I remember that actually. But I mean, you were in the first league. I was in the second league for the first one, and then the first league for the top 2. Now, for something like TMPL, it was obviously taken very seriously. However, there was an element to it. It wasn't the official Nadal competition. Some people didn't take it that seriously, and that led to the little meme you used to have about, how fucking 10 people get banned for 5 years or something like that.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, so that was a little bit of a meme in and of itself. However, that showed you that there was an amount of people who went into that season and didn't care. They went into the season, they qualified, and then they didn't put in the effort to justify their spot for a qualification. That was actually how I got into Trackmania Grand League, Trackmania Pro League, as it was back then, because I replaced someone who got banned, if I remember correctly, because I was not a good enough player to qualify back then. Anyway, what my point is, right, I could understand this for tournaments leading up to the level of prestige that TMPL had, and that was very prestigious. You had a lot of players in there who were taking it very seriously. It was a very prestigious tournament, both for the organisers and for the players. This was either the players' chance to shine in the tech format, since there was no World Cup at the time, and also it was the chance for developing players to really kind of hone their skills against the best players in the world, because you really weren't getting that outside of team matches. Anyway, the problem I have with this is, right, you're going into Trackmania Grand League, you're being invited for Trackmania Grand League. Now, if you're a person who does not think they're going to be able to dedicate all of their time to it, I'm not saying playing the game 24/7. I'm saying reasonably dedicate an amount of time to where you can consider yourself to be prepared, or you are not sure if you're going to be motivated to play this, right? So Revolution's been in that position twice, right? He was been in that position because he initially qualified through the M&M qualifier way back in Trackmania Grand League Season 1. He was then removed from M&M because Pack was taken in. And then he proceeded to play for One Step. Didn't, sponsorship was drying up. So fair enough. I get that part. There's a reason there, right? Now he's coming back. Now he's got a new sponsor. He's got Loud. Loud have stuck with him. Loud may not have the most resources in the world. However, he's went into the season and he has done literally nothing. I believe his average position would be something like 15 and a half or something disgusting like that, For a player of his talent to be putting in that level of it, let me just rephrase that. For any player who's been considered to be invited for Trackmania Grand League and to put in that little effort is absolutely scandalous for me. I would place a little bit of, the blame towards the people who then choose these type of players, because Revolution's a kind of known quantity in that. He will play if he wants to. You cannot make Revolution play. I've seen that for M&M for a few years. We saw that in Trackmania Grand League. We see that now once again. You can't make him do it if he doesn't want to. So, in my opinion, you should focus your choosing of players upon people who are known quantities, who are dependable. Someone like Carl. Carl's a perfect example. If you're not going to do that, give it to someone who's got something to prove, like a Fegley. Fegley's came in and he might not be the best player in the world, but you'd be damn sure he's going to be putting in effort because he's got something to prove. He's got a lot to gain from this. He's got a lot to learn from this. Whereas if you're just going to if you're going to dredge up all the old good players from years and years ago, which I would put Revolution in that category. Revolution hadn't been playing for about a year and a half or something like that, if I do remember correctly, after M&M won their team tournament. He stopped playing for a while, came back, played one or two cups, then all of a sudden he's in Loud and he's invited to TMGL. There's a lot more people I would put in front of the list over people I would think would be dependable to play in a tournament like that. So I think he was a poor choice to play that. But also, I do put a big part of the blame on the player who then says, yeah, sure, I'll take that spot, knowing full well, because Revo's, he's not one of these people who just, decides on the whim of a day, let's just go and win a tournament. He's not that kind of person. At least I know that from my experience of him. So I do look down quite a lot on Revo for that. Now, I will bash him for it. I'm not fucking scared to, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't deserve the credit for anything he does in Trackmania Grand League.
Obviously.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't like the fact that spots get wasted on people like him, and I don't like the fact that people like him are wasting spots. So I know it sounds like saying the same thing, but there's a small
it's
difference
just two different kind of positions you're just attacking with that. Like, for one, obviously the player himself, and on the other hand, the one that chose him. And the thing is, like you say, Carl, for example, but I think the reason why Carl didn't get chosen was because they already had so many Frenchies and they didn't want another Frenchie. If you think about that now, if I would have played OGL last season and went like top 20, I think there would have been a reasonable chance they wouldn't have chosen Revolution then. No, the thing
is,
true
though.
It's true though.
I just remember,
though.
or like I think like this, like Turbo top 30, and they would invite me in.
I mean, I think they might have They might have thought about that, maybe.
Nah,
also
never,
like
never.
Marius or Lars. I don't know where they ended up.
That is more likely.
But I think there definitely was a decision between maybe Revolution and maybe I don't know who else would have been the second best German player to like qualify there in the last team OGL or something
Marius,
like that. Yeah, Lars or Marius
or Bresso. Bresso is also doing great right now. That's what I also wanted to talk about. So I'm currently having like one issue with that, because the OGL format is kind of bad.
You mean the new one?
Yeah, it's kind of bad. It doesn't really. It's like not like that as exciting. As a player, I would not be motivated to play it.
I think nobody is motivated to play it unless you really want to get into like the TMGL.
Yeah,
The format is just boring. It's fair.
Yeah.
That's the good part.
Of course,
and,
but it's
and
boring
it makes
to
a lot
play.
of sense. It makes so much sense. I really, you really have to like give Nadio that point, because they understand the current format is not fair of TMGL, so they are not using that for OGL. That makes a lot of sense, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Nadio understands what they are doing. They know what they are doing. That's good. It would be worse if they are thinking it's fair when it isn't. That would be worse. So it's great that it is like that. But on the other hand, OGL right now is just super boring to play. So it would have been nice to have maybe like some sort of mix, like at least have like a short qualification at the beginning, and then have like a normal step without multiplier at the end, because that would have already been enough, right?
Yeah.
You just don't want OGL to be like completely time attack, which is the fact right now. You
Yeah,
just
it's
want to have a
very
small qualification, like always, and then just have a normal step without the multiplier at the end. That would already be enough, in my opinion.
just with the points, you have all 5
Yeah.
maps you
Yeah.
play, and then there's the deduct between P8 and P9, that you have the 10 points between there.
Yep.
I think that could be good. And then you get the points like last time, I would say, with the 10,000, 8,000, that look good, because making it to the top division is always consistent. But also, if you mess up, you can still get 8,000 points. I really like that system, though, even though the seeding was kind of interesting with the, like, if you get first and last on every map, for example, you still qualify. But
Yeah, that's the points. They maybe could adjust those points a little bit to make it. Yeah.
So my opinion, or like my thought that I had is, like, will there even good players come from the OGL? Of course there will, but will the best players come from the OGL to the Trackmania Grand League Challenger? Will we
Probably
see the
though.
swap
Probably.
between? I think we're gonna see more motivated player compared to Revolution, and also players that really want to use
Well,
their
the bar's
chances.
set very low for that.
I mean,
so.
yeah,
But yeah, I
but you
guess
have
that was
to.
a hard
Yeah,
example,
but
of
playing
course.
for
But
the
yeah.
but playing OGL right now, you have to be really motivated.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
So right now we have Enner, Dark, Scandier, and Carl in the top 4. I just opened the game. Hugo is behind. Then we have Bresso, Sapi, then Darkwix, who has improved a lot, and Heath. Of course, they're only the 6 best steps count, so we don't know that. Yeah, 6 from 8 steps will count. So also a player like Dexter, I'm not sure if he even played the last step or the last steps.
I think
And
he did.
also Ratchet. But I think they both missed out on one. So I hope that players like that will go up. Yeah, because you cannot see that here, because the ranking will be finite or final at the end. Also, Elcon missed out on one step, but he's at 19.8 thousand. You just scroll down here a bit. You have Loud
Yeah,
Six,
because you
Dexter.
can miss. Yeah, because only the best 8
Yeah.
steps or so count. Yeah.
Yeah, the best 6 from 8. Glast also
6
missed
from
out
8,
on a
yeah.
step already. Then Loud 6. Let me scroll down again. But yeah, guys, keep talking. Then I'm gonna.
It's interesting actually that they say Bresso is top 4, because apparently
Top 8, top 6.
Top 6, because
top 5.
SRK said that Bresso was the highest out of the OGL players last season. So apparently he does really want to play. So it's not like Nadeo asked Bresso and Bresso said nah, no, and then they went to Revolution. They picked Revolution over Bresso.
I guess it's just because Revolution's got a very, very high peak. You know that there's a potential for him to play amazingly. Like we saw glimpses of that in Trackmania Grand League, way back when, and we know that from tournaments in the past. He was a multi-style demon. There's no denying that. It's just that he doesn't care, I guess.
Yeah.
But here's a question I would ask you guys. Something that I kind of thought of there. I probably mentioned it before, but because it would have bothered me then. But we talk about some players being denied basically because, shall we say, a quota for French people had been filled. Does something like that really belong in this game, considering like there has been a massive French focus for the outpouring of, like, I don't know, some people will just simplify it as marketing, but the amount of attention this game has got in France and the amount of attention this game has focused to the French speakers has been, so much higher in proportion compared to the rest of the world over the years. Now it feels like French people are being punished. They're being punished for the fact that they're in the majority when that's not their fault, that's Nadeo's fault. or Ubisoft in that deal. If we'll say it like that, that's a wee bit of a hard thing to say. When of course Zerator, if he's been involved in the game, is going to continue to grow the French audience, and it's not his fault. It's not France's fault that no one else. It's not Nvidia's fault that no one else took up that kind of shit. Whatever. But I think it's quite unfair that these people are getting excluded when they are good enough, they are well known enough, they do have that tenure. Someone exactly like Carl is getting excluded purely for the fact that he is from a nation which has an extremely strong majority in Trackmania. And I mean, we very well could see a time where, I mean, I don't know, 14 out of the 16 players in the top whatever are French. And that's through no fault of their own. That's because this game has been, zoned towards a French-speaking audience for the last so many years, and this is the fruits that you are reaping from this harvest. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on that, because I think the drawback for that cannot be passed over to the players. The drawback for that needs to be dealt with through Nadeo. If they need to explain to people why the entirety of TMGLC is French, then that's up to them. That's not up to them to punish players or to maneuver other players into those spots purely for the fact, that they haven't shown enough interest in their region.
It's an interesting aspect because on the one hand, they want to open up the game to other countries, and we can really see that with also Trackmania being less and less popular in France. We can see it. I think someone was posting in the top 10 of follower gained or something like that, and there was only one French person in there who was streaming Trackmania. It was Yannix. Yeah, and it seems that the community is flattened a bit, but also now from the top 4, 3 of those players, let's just take that. Of course, everything can happen till step number 8. That will be wild, especially for the last placements, because the lower the points are, the higher you can also go up again, I would say, because the points are just closer together. But if it would stay like that, then 3 Frenchies, if I just take the top 4 now, or I think top 3, then 2 Frenchies would promote and 3 non-Frenchies would demote. So again, then we would have 2, 4, 6. Yeah, we would have 11 Frenchies in the league. But I think it's not a bad thing, because shouldn't you have the league tailored around the best 16 players or the best 32 players? Just not regarding the nationality. Of course, everyone should have the same opportunity, but you can see it that the Frenchies just belong in there. In the top 10, we have one player who is not French speaking. I also assume that Scandir is French speaking because he's from Belgium. Yeah, it's Bresso. And then 10th, 11th, 12th, and then 13 is Canada. So 14 is Alpha again. Then there comes a Czech player. Okay, yeah, what can I say? It's just French dominance. And if they belong there, it will happen, of course. And I just hope that the league will just find its groove into there. Of course, it is hard, but you have to do it like that.
That's just how it is, Obviously, I think we all can agree that Revolution shouldn't have been chosen for TMGLC and Carl should have been in there.
Yeah, but he will drop down anyway. I mean,
exactly. I don't
he will
feel
do one good
strongly
step.
about that.
This could also happen.
No, I don't feel strongly about that. TMGLC obviously was now it's new and it's never gonna happen again that Nadia was gonna handpick people for that. So they just wanted to give people a chance that usually wouldn't have been in there in that league, to try and give people outside of France a spot. And I can see where they're coming from. I guess I don't necessarily agree with that point of view, but it's not that big of an issue to me, because I mean, it's basically a new opportunity, It's not like it was something that was decided before and known to everyone that it's going to be like that. It's something that TMGLC didn't exist before, right? So everyone had the same opportunity to get into TMGL, and now there's the new TMGLC, and they just handpick people. Obviously, it would have been better and fairer to pick the best people, but who are the best people for that, Only looking at TMGL, only looking at the World Cup, and you have Mime, for example. You didn't even play TMGL, OGL before. Yeah. So since that's the case, I don't really mind what they like. Since that's the case, I don't really mind it in this case. It's never gonna happen again. Otherwise we wouldn't have people like Fagley in there, for example, which which arguably do deserve their spot there.
He's
So
doing good, yeah. He had some top 8 finishes and also a multiplier, so that's cool.
yeah, so I think there's definitely some reason behind, like some good points to decide the players like that. It's not, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I can understand both point of views. I don't really think strongly about that, but in particular, it's the way it is. It's fine the way it is. It would have been fine the other way for me as well. So yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
If you're like unhappy about it, just play OGL, qualify for TMGLC.
Exactly. You can make it different, and it's not hard if you, of course, a top level player to make it in there. How I would have dealt with it is actually create 4 competitions that you have like you just play
It would
out
have been
on
also be way more
one-
interesting because you would have
one.
had
Yeah,
competitions to cast and stuff like that. Obviously, but too much effort probably for Nadia.
you have a Saturday and Sunday or like whatever, and then you have like a top 16 and the top 8, and then 2 semifinals, and from those 2 semifinals 2 players go through top 4, and then I don't know, they also fight it out for a cash prize there, €500 or like 200 or something like that, to give players also motivation to play that, something. And then also the top 1 is getting rewarded with, I don't know, let's say 5, 10, 20 bonus points going to the season. I don't know, you name something, to just give them a head start. Something like this should work out. That's how I would have dealt with that. Then you have the 16 players that are motivated, that wanted to play not only for the cash prize and also for everything else. That could have been a cool idea.
Yeah, I would have also preferred it, obviously, but you don't really know how spontaneous the the Challenger League was planned and stuff like that.
And
So
then you do
it's
it on
like,
the old maps or something. I don't know.
yeah. It like obviously the tournament, the qualification would have been way more interesting. Like it would have been fair. It would have been also interesting because you would have had something to cast and stuff like that in the off season. It would have been nice.
Yeah.
You could have like instead of just directly promoting the current TMGL Challenger League players into the league, they could have just maybe picked a couple of players like Fakeley and Mime and stuff like that, and just given them like a spot at the end of the tournament, maybe. Already like they're like pre-qualified for the last stage of the qualification or something. I don't know, but
Yeah,
things
are possible.
Yeah.
I hope
I think
that
it's a bit of nitpicking, to be honest. It's not like it's a bit of nitpicking, in my opinion.
Yeah, one other
Kind of.
thing that I also like to talk about is the unpredictability of this format. Because on the one hand, you have players just DNFing in front of the finish line. Let's say 10 players make a mistake, 2 players are batting it out. Then Oltak DNFs in front of the finish line. A player that is 1 second behind him gets the multiplier. It feels weird. But on the other hand, it's like a player like Spam, for example, playing a good step overall, or also Pack. They're going the same register. Playing absolutely well, not getting a multiplier. All of a sudden, Spam is in danger of even demoting into the Trackmania Grand League Challenger. The system feels very, very unbalanced in that way. And due to the same qualifying system for the Trackmania World Cup, we will have the same system next season as well. How great does that sound? And I think there will be some upsets. I mean, we're seeing it. A player, for example, like Revolution can still make it into the top 4.
Imagine. Imagine that actually. That would be would be outrageous, but it's true. It's true. It actually is true.
And also Revolution can just drop from place number 16 down, or go up from place 16 to up to P11 just with one good step. Everything can happen. And for me, the system is way too wild, and the multipliers are way too high for this system to be somewhat fair. I get where the multiplier is coming from, but yeah, it's just harsh. Let's just say that was just a point that I wanted to mention there.
But you're right. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing. You're right. You know what I mean? But who knows? We'll if we see that, that will be disgusting. But he is capable. I mean, that's it. That's
yeah, he is capable, and that's why we were talking about him like that. It's not that we think he's a bad player per se, but he's just.
I mean, we're also not particularly like saying that he's a bad human being. We're just saying that what he's currently doing is just not a good sportsmanship,
Yeah, well, we can say
maybe
that.
he's busy in life. I don't want to pinpoint that he's not a good sportsman.
If he's busy in life, he shouldn't have took the spot. Simple as that.
Yeah, okay. Fact.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I also wanted to say that, but you
So
just
it's
stole
okay.
the word out of my mouth.
I'll
Just
be
took
the
it.
one. I'll be the one to be the dick of the group, so it's fine. I'm not going to be here next week, so I'll take all the heat for it. So
Revo
that's
doesn't
fine.
care anyway. I know
Yeah,
Revo
yeah,
too good for
exactly.
that.
Revo doesn't care. But yeah, I mean, not only, of course, Trackmania Grand League, we wanted to talk about this year as the title of the episode is 2022. That's a lot of twos. That's the most twos there's
I
going to
like
be
that.
for a lot of
You're you, Toby.
This is Shorty's year, guys.
I hope so, because this year definitely wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah. So of course, 2022 as it's been a big question mark for a while, I think, in a lot of people's minds. And some of the points that we were thinking quite a lot about was, of course, likes of LAN events, the likes of what the future looks like for different kinds of events and the rest of that. So, Turbo, I understand you had some kind of thoughts on what to expect from 2022, or at least what we are not able to expect from 2022. So, what's your thoughts on what next year might mean for Trackmania?
So I got already approached by a lot of organizers that were actually new. Like there were some new cups coming up, but also I think that regional tournaments will come into play again. I hope that LAN events will also return, because I'm always thinking, should I do a LAN event next year? Should I do that? Should I not do it? Because it's so much work, but it would be so great to have something like the Nest back, or like also a tech double elimination tech tournament. Boom, with 4,000 or 5,000 euro prize pool. That would be the best thing. Maybe Gamers Assembly is going to do that. I don't know what they're planning, but also like by the likes of Gamers Assembly, it's really cool to see they had 3 tournaments this year. So it really shows that they are really. I think we can hear keyboard a bit, Paul, in the background. Okay, but it's like we had 3 tournaments from the Gamers Assembly this year with like almost 5k of prize pool. So I think that those tournaments will also like continue going into the future. Not sure if it's a LAN event or not. I don't know that, but I hope so. And I also think that there will be more Trackmania LAN events coming up. Not sure what organizers are jumping in again. The Raider Cup will of course be a LAN event, and yeah. I mean, we were sitting here 1 year ago as well, Paul, and we're talking about those things. But
Yep.
now I think it's getting reality that those things will eventually return again. But I don't know, like what tournaments will come. But I think we will definitely have some, and then I'm gonna travel there.
I'm
As a
definitely all in
caster or
on
not.
more LAN events. And also, if you really think about doing a LAN event, like I would dig a LAN event in Germany so hard. It would be awesome. Like
Yeah.
no matter how we are gonna do it, but I'm definitely also interested in doing something like that. In general, we just need it, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
like I think just the scene is ready for it. Germany is ready for it. We just need another LAN in fucking Germany.
Is Shorty ready for it?
Yeah, obviously I'm ready for it. I'm ready for everything.
Yeah, I think this could also work
Except
out
Uni.
quite well, because
Except uni.
the German community looks quite strong in this regard. The French community as well as the Polish community, but of course they're all like Trackmania Nations boomers, yeah. But no,
True,
But-
but
I mean,
yeah.
if you would host a LAN in Germany, I think I would also include a Nations Forever tournament. Honestly, I would just include it because it just makes a lot of sense, in my opinion.
no.
It
It's not a
depends
bad
what
idea, to be honest.
United.
it depends what you're going for, in my opinion. It depends on
Yeah.
what you're going for.
It will be a LAN, but like more like a LAN between friends, and then you have like a tournament funded by the community, something like that. I don't know.
So basically, like in Prague when we had a mini Trackmania tournament, is that what you're saying?
And I won everyone, Kappa.
This guy. Anyway, let me ask you guys a question, a little bit of, shall we say, a prediction game, right? Will there be a Gamers Assembly LAN in 2022?
Prediction, yes or no?
Yes or
I
no?
think so. I think yes.
And I have to check my DMs. No, just kidding. I also think yes, but I don't know. I really don't know. Even though I was a Gamers Assembly, but no, we didn't talk about stuff like that. But
It's
I think
nice to-
yes, there will be.
It's nice to see that they hosted 3 online events. I mean, obviously the prize pool is split up between 3 events in that case, but you can see the dedication from Gamers Assembly is there. They still support the game, and that's nice to see. And you can see that they want to host another LAN event with Trackmania in it as well. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay, what about World Cup being a LAN? Yes or no?
No.
No. Yeah, probably no. It's sad to say that because I want it to be a yes, but I'm still thinking it's gonna be a no.
Yeah, I also think it will be a no. Will we see another big event besides the Raider Cup and also Gamers Assembly being a LAN event?
I don't know. Can you check your DMs, please? Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, I can say yes and just we do it ourselves, and then
Yeah,
it's
it would be
obviously
cool.
true, right?
No, I don't know, but I think there will be. I think there will be one.
There might be one, yeah. It's
If
likely.
not, we organize it, Toby.
I mean, why the fuck not, right?
Yeah, I mean, Rapidland looks the Rapidland thingy that Trilux is doing. That looks
Yeah.
really really good to get one, and of course, people have to pay there, but it nothing that you cannot organize.
I mean, Turix is also pretty interested in Trackmania, you know. He's ghosting me
One
on
by
Twitter,
one.
right? I mean, he's ghosting me on Twitter right now, but
He's
hey,
ghosting everyone, dude. I was talking.
obviously he is. Like, how many DMs is he gonna get though?
Dude,
But
I was
yeah.
talking to him with the German Trackmania Cup, and it was just like a monologue between me and him. And then after the tournament, he was like, "Yo, danke." That was it. Like,
Right.
I mean, yeah, okay, he texted a bit more, but still, like, I was texting, giving him this, that, and then he was like, "Yo, this," and I was also talking to some others to that, to Röder, and he was like, "Yeah, he's the master of ghosting."
Yeah, well, that's good to know. I guess next time I'm not gonna contact him then.
Yeah, he like really you have to do it over like two corners. That it works the
Yeah.
best.
I just had an idea. I was talking with Arma about something that Arma already talked with Röder and Felix son about. So I was like, yeah, might as well, you know, ask. And yeah, but
Better text Felix then.
better
for that.
text Felix then.
He's
But I didn't know that, you know. I didn't know that. I also didn't have his contacts.
Yeah, ask me. I have every contact.
I mean, now I know that. But yeah, something you know, something like that for the German scene is definitely something that could work if they
Yeah,
are interested. I mean, I
definitely.
guess we are definitely interested, and even without them, we can do something ourselves. So looking in that direction, I think something or whatever it is, online, offline, but we are definitely gonna do something.
We're gonna do
next year.
something, and it will be offline.
Well then, offline it is.
Yeah.
I'm ready. For just being silent and
Not only
Yeah.
including
No,
not
no,
only
no.
including
No.
Germans, but you know, do
Just-
like an invitational to try to get everyone in there. You know, if someone like Spam or Scrappy want to play, then we're also gonna invite them. You know.
As soon as you like asked me a question there, I took a sip of like my drink, and then it went down the bad way, and I was like, "Ugh."
Oh no.
And then you just asked me something. I'm like, yes. But yeah, I mean, any of you guys get any like kind of prediction question to put to us for 2022? Here's another one, right? Will we see any of the Trackmania Grand League players retiring in 2022? Do you think?
It's kind of sad to
Yes.
say that, but maybe probably, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I don't say that expecting these people like because these are players who have been playing for a very long time, you know. So that's I feel like that's a valid question. At least it feels like some of these people are on their way out. You know, it just feels like for them to get knocked out of TMGL or for them to lose a sponsor and they're gone. You know, I mean, people kind of forget a little bit. You know, Massa was going to quit before he got his Berlin International Gaming gig. You know, every time Spam lost a sponsor, his next video was up about him when he was going to end up leaving, and this was it. Then he found a sponsor, and then he's back in. So it does seem to be that the will to continue on in this game for a lot of players is quite thin. You know, it's not that long in the tooth anymore. And I mean, some of them have been relatively open about the fact that if they weren't getting paid the kind of money they were, they wouldn't be around anymore.
I mean, the thing is, if you ask the question like that, something we have to discuss first and make sure we agree on is what do you say? Like, what is retiring? Just going out of the MGL voluntarily, or just like stopping completely, because some of the players, especially like a lot of the players basically, are also like streamers. And I think we all can agree on that. Even if you try to get out of Trackmania, no matter how hard you try, you're just coming back eventually anyway. Even if you just play a casually couple of the days or so. Is that still retiring then or not?
You mean like Muda, for example,
Yeah,
who
Muda,
was
for
coming back
example, yeah,
after some
Yeah.
months?
so many people, there are so many people. You have so many old school players that came back. Just also look
Kanye
at
as well,
Carl,
yeah.
for example. I don't know. So like stopping Trackmania completely is something that I don't really know that many people that like were really known and then just completely stopped.
Yeah, I
A
don't
few,
think
of
these
course,
people will
yes.
stop streaming because a lot of the TMGL players get a lot of money from streaming, So I
Yeah.
don't think they'd stop streaming. I think they would stop playing Trackmania Grand Prix.
And
That's what I
important to
think.
point out, actually, they are gaining money with streaming Trackmania
Yeah.
specifically.
I think we're gonna see players demote. I mean, when I was saying that I think that Tween is gonna demote this season, look where he's standing. I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna be the expert of Trackmania Grand League, but this confirms it again.
I'm the
that-
expert of numbers.
yeah, I no, but it. You see Tween gradually losing interest. From my understanding, Tween is a great person, best mentality. I can only praise him into heaven. What of
Best
a great
smile.
what of a great person he is, even though I
Yeah.
haven't met him.
Best shirt.
Unfortunately, he wasn't in Prague. Yeah,
I know.
Oh, that's
Fucking
sad.
tween.
yeah. Damn, it would have been cool though to meet Tween actually, because that's also a person that you can just sit down and talk for hours. But
Yeah.
I did it with Kappa then, so that was also cool. But it, Tween, he played the Gamers Assembly, and there he got second, and he didn't really care. It seems that he put more effort into that than the whole Trackmania Grand League season thus far. So it seems that he lost a lot of interest into that, which I can understand. But maybe Tween is just maybe like, maybe I cannot keep up, or I'm not interested anymore. I hope that he will come back. But yeah, one of the players that can drop down for me is Tween. Kappa, of course, he will still get it, and we can maybe see one of the newcomers. I think Worker is not so far up. Maybe gonna demote again, but I don't see a player like Spam. He's like pushing it him all the time. All the time he's pushing himself, and you can also see how much that gets to him when he is making a tweet at 4 a.m. on a Monday morning. And it's like sleepless and something like that. So Spam, nowhere I'm gonna see him dropping out of Trackmania Grand League and professional gaming in Trackmania, and without the Trackmania Grand League.
Yeah, I mean, Tween is kind of sad, but it's probably the
Yeah.
most likely, because you gotta understand that the way TMGL works, and even if it wouldn't be for the format itself, just the maps and the multi-style is also with the new game, especially it's the gameplay is so different compared to like or like tech tournaments, especially old school tech tournaments. A lot of things have changed, and people like Spam already in the old days were like interested in multi-style competitions. I mean, Spam even hosted some of them himself, so it's not really surprising that he's like not having issues with having motivation for the new game, because it's just multi-style, and he already was interested in multi-style. But somebody like Tween that never really played those multi-style events, it's difficult to keep up with the motivation when it's so different compared to before.
Yeah, true that. I mean, some people have adapted. I mean, for example, Spam, I was remembering watching his third TTC in 2015-16. He was really not good on that, but he has adapted so much. Also, Trackmania Turbo, for example, he has gotten all STMs. I mean, not bad, but he was not bad. But he had to like learn it, and he
Yeah,
did that.
exactly.
Yeah,
He was a tech engie, just
yeah.
like most of us
Bergie.
maybe were at some. Or don't even start with Bergie, man. I never understood that guy. Like seriously. I mean, at some point when he started playing TTCs, he like eventually got into fast learning a little bit. But you could
Let's see if
see,
he's in the
like,
viewer list. He's
if
not
you
rant
if
over.
no, I'm not ranting about him actually. I'm just like I already knew that he's like the worst at fast learning. But
Yeah, Solary Cup was the
I
worst.
really understood it the first time when he was streaming for like one of his very first streams. He was learning a new tech map, and he was like one of the very best at that time, like really one of the very best players, and
And
already
well
at that,
deserved.
yeah, well deserved, obviously as well. Nothing is not well deserved basically in Trackmania, I think. So it's and you could see him playing the map already for like 10 hours and being still over half a second behind the world record. And at that point, I was already like in my quote unquote prime. So I was playing a map for 20 minutes. I would have been like 0.2 behind the world record, and that would be my PB. I stopped playing at that point. I mean, I would be driving world record at that time and stop playing for the week, and people would
You need
eventually
30 minutes for that.
yeah, maybe 30 minutes. No, but me and Dexter were just doing it like, and then you see Bergie playing the same map for like 10 hours, being half a second behind the world record, and he just continues and continues and continues, and he's just creeping closer and closer and closer and closer. And at some point, he just drives point 0.1, 0.2 behind world record consistently. That just it's a foreign concept to me. I don't understand how you play like
Weird
that.
learning, yeah.
It was super weird. I never understood it. Like never. It made no
I
sense.
don't
to me.
understand playing more than 20 minutes. It doesn't make sense to me.
Really though. Really though. It didn't it didn't make sense to me at all. I couldn't understand it. I mean, obviously, he was one of the best, so it worked, like no doubt about it. But it just was the way he played the game just made no sense to me at all.
Yeah. It was like, I remember another player like that, Mathix, a
yeah.
Numalops player, and he would finish every round. Doesn't matter if he crashed, doesn't matter if he's slow, finished every round. Like there
That's
used to
good
be
though.
there used to be a stat that would show you on the old Trackmania 2 Fast, I think it was. It would show you on the locals list how many times that player had finished the track. And you'd see in the old A&E server, like, say I'd finished it 110 times or something like that. And I was one of the players who put more time into it. Mathix, like 312 or something, just because he finishes all the rounds, But I mean, instead of talking about the past and talking about Trackmania Grand League again, is there any other things you guys are looking forward to or looking to maybe happen in 2022 that you'd like to kind of bring to the table, so to speak?
Yeah, well, maybe Trackmania.
Turbo getting verified for it?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like for me, it was a really good year as a content creator. Let's say like that. It started off really good, and it's still really good, as you might see. The last couple of months where it just, yeah, I always think I'm dreaming, but I just hope that I can establish myself as a streamer, like just to talk about myself. But what I think about the game is that, yeah, well, what comes next? That's the question. What will we have next? Will we have a new underground? Will we have new physics updates? What will we have in the game? We had Royal and matchmaking coming this year, but after that, also Cup of the Day coming at the end of last year. But what comes next? Will there be something that is coming? Yeah, maybe some other incentives to hold players.
Only in June.
Yeah, maybe with the Zerator Cup, but those things are really were asking myself what comes next. Of course, Trackmania looks to be very strong, even without content from the game, because it's just growing. You see Scrappy right now. I'm just checking on the right streaming, and it seems that he has 1.2k viewers with Forza Horizon, and you always have a Trackmania streamer in the evening streaming with more than 500 viewers, whether it's Race Hans, Magi, Scrappy, or anyone else. It's just cool to see that, and just that Trackmania is not gonna downgrade, which I don't hope, but also that Trackmania esports in general will have maybe a comeback with a good tournament that shows that we don't need a show, but a good competition.
I kind of think next year is going to be very decisive in a lot of ways, because Trackmania, like the first real kind of wave of new players is over in some way. We still get new players. We still are growing in general as a community, and also the streaming side of things is also still growing. But I think it's maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like it's slowly getting to the point where you don't really know where things are going in the long run. So next year also with the kind of events and stuff like that, also esports side of things with TMGL, it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen in the next year, if and in what direction it's going to develop.
Yeah, I think both in like the esports side, whether it's outside of the Trackmania Grand League or World Cup, or like inside of it, if we have a good and huge tournament coming up, because we did have that this year with the Gamers Assembly. What else was there? Let me think. Of course, Elite Cup was there.
Yeah.
But did we have like one like huge? Maybe I'm missing out on that.
But the problem is with those kind of tournaments, there's no hype around them anymore. Like Elite Cup, I don't think there was a lot of hype. Also, the Gamers Assemblies, like they have
Oh,
reasonable,
that was
like
good though. I
yeah,
mean,
they have, yeah,
Salary Cup was
definitely,
there, true.
definitely. But it's not like there's a huge hype around them. You know what I mean? Like
Then
they
you
are
have to
good,
create
and
that.
yeah, exactly.
I think what Trackmania is in need of is like a not major, but like some sort of organizer that has like a shit ton of events with huge qualifiers and then just split them over a couple of weeks. You know,
Yeah.
something like that. I don't
We
know. And
always
then
say that there's so much potential in Trackmania,
Yeah.
and I definitely agree, and I definitely think that. But then I would like an event to like draw out as much potential out of Trackmania as possible. And the Radar Cup is maybe a good example for that, but not in the kind of way that I want. You know, the Radar Cup is drawing out maybe full potential of Trackmania in the kind of in his way, but not in an esports kind of way. And I would like an esports event to draw out all the potential of Trackmania, but in an esports way.
That's fair. Esports Zerator incoming.
Yeah, well, hope maybe, but I don't know. No.
But yeah, well, what do you think as a boomer who's not even playing Trackmania anymore?
I mean, yeah, it's
He knows to whom I talk. No, of course.
yeah, of course, I know to who you talk. I mean, yeah, Shorty at least streams, you know. But
That's cool though. That's really nice that Shorty is streaming. Follow
yeah,
him.
for sure.
I'm creating very good maps.
Yeah, guys, follow
Sometimes.
Shirty
Weird
2.
maps.
Follow Shirty 2 on Twitch.
What do you mean weird? Upside down, underwater, backwards is not weird at all.
Oh, that's not.
Okay. Love
It
it.
works though.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much thoughts as to how the game will continue because, like I said, I've made no secret I feel more and more kind of distance from the game over the last year. So it is hard to see what direction it's going in from, you know, when I'm further and further away on the outside. But what I will say is, as much as the old guard has kind of been, you know, on its way out or being forced out in some ways, it feels like there is players coming in to replace them. You know, there is new faces coming in, there's new teams coming in, there's new competitions, new streamers, new casters. So there is what I hope is that Trackmania doesn't simply become like a long revolving door. You know, you want to have people who you can keep at this game for a very long time. You know, you want to have people that you're going to convert into future interest in Trackmania, like the Counter-Strike franchise. The Counter-Strike franchise, if it has converted people to Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and these people have been playing this game for years and years, and they will continue to play the game for years and years. You know, I would like to see Trackmania doing that. You know, people don't feel like they're getting. People, there's not often a lot of controversy about people just playing Counter Strike. You know, Trackmania often does have its little dramas and all the rest of that you know we have different feelings about. But I just hope that Trackmania finds a way to make a lot more people happy, and keep a lot more people in the game instead of it just being a continuing rolling, as I said, revolving door of people coming in as other people leave. You want to have more coming in than who are going out.
No.
That's the essence of growth. You want to bring more in than you're having taken out for any sort of reason. Whereas it feels like you're filling up a boat when there's still a hole in it. I think the holes need to be patched up, and then we can work on filling everything up. So it'll be cool to see what happens going forward. I will, of course, still keep a track on it, but it's hard to say what timescale we're talking about. I mean, of course, there's going to be something new coming just as the 1 year subscription's about to end, the classic subscription tactic. But what that will be, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to seeing what it is nonetheless, because what Trackmania offers in and of itself at the moment is more than any other, sole title of Trackmania offered, unless we're counting on one, like Trackmania 2 has so many different environments. It doesn't really, just Trackmania 2 Canyon, Trackmania 2 Stadium, blah, blah, blah. Whereas I think this game offers you the most to do. in a kind of sense so far. However, it is also significantly the most expensive. So we'll see how the game evolves. I hope that more comes into the game, and I hope, to be honest, that the game doesn't continue to cost this much money to people for all this time to come. Trackmania has never been a game that would sell for the 55 euros or whatever at the shops, or online or so. It's never been that kind of game, and it's never really been a game that really suited the subscription module to begin with. So it does trouble me when we are going to get to the point in a few years where people are going to have spent more than $100 or €100 on the game, and they're not really going to have much else to show for it other than having had the game for a few more years. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how that kind of situation develops when that does become a little bit of a turning point where people do realize, wait, I've had like 5 years of club access, like what now, because that's the spot I'm in. I've played a little bit of Trackmania. I just don't want to go back to paying, however much for it again, because I don't feel that I'm gonna get as much from it anymore. But
I remember when you were motivated to play Raider Cup 2020. That were good old times, Paul.
Yeah. I've been motivated to play every Zerator Cup until the maps came out. That's how it
Same.
works.
Kind of
How it
same.
works.
I don't know why I'm still getting motivated about it when I already know it's gonna end like that, but it's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good thing. It's definitely reasonable to think about it like that. I don't really particularly dislike the subscription model because to me it does make sense. Honestly, I don't mind the price as well. It's a reasonable price. It's not overpriced in my opinion. The only thing that I looking forward see a little bit troublesome. I mean, yes, we now got the huge update with plastic and water, and we also got the update with Royal, which don't get me wrong, I don't like it, but a lot of players do like it. So it's a popular mode. It has its viewer base. It's people that enjoy playing Royal a lot. So nothing is wrong with that. So it definitely is a big was an update in a way where I can justify a subscription model. The update is big enough to like justify having a subscription based model because considering to how it was before in the old games, we never would have gotten those kind of updates in that scale. But on the other hand, even if you say we continue with these kind of big updates, I don't know if you like for one can do those big updates. Like at some point, you're just gonna run out of ideas. And on the other hand, even if you don't run out of ideas, not all of them are gonna be good. And some of them are like, are we just gonna get a new game mode each time now? It's just gonna separate the game, the community at some point. So it's also not really something that I'm looking forward to. That like in the like for the short term, for the next couple of years, maybe it's gonna work, but at some time in the long run, it's I don't know. I just don't want to get like I'm happy that we are gonna get big updates, but it's the core of Trackmania is kind of the core of Trackmania, so I'm not really sure what kind of the big updates you're gonna get. Trackmania always was really community based. Most of the things that happen in Trackmania are community based. The competitions, the blocks are mostly done by the community. Like all the custom blocks are all by the community. So getting Royal, okay, cool, yes. Does it justify the subscription model? I don't know. Can you do that every single year so people are happy about it? I don't know. That's the
An
difficult
incentive
thing.
is missing.
The
for
incentive,
playing.
yeah.
Trophies are so important. I love trophies.
Trophies are
Not
just fucked up, but
like I think there are 3 players that I know who are playing for trophies. Those are Hello Mark, Marius, and Granadi. I think no one else cares about them.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's like it doesn't even display a good ranking, but like an incentive to say, okay, yeah, I try to go into the top 100 in matchmaking now to get
Yeah.
myself something out of it, even though it's only like a weird sticker on my skin that I can put on, or like a name tag next to my name, something like that it displays that I get rewarded for that. But a trophy system doesn't feel really rewarding, and also quite unbalanced if you think about that you get, I think, trophy 8 even if you're in the top 100 in OGL.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, I don't really mind the trophies that much. I'm
Yeah, I
not,
also
I mean,
don't mind about
obviously
them,
it would be better if there would be like an actual incentive behind them, but it's Trackmania always been like that. The ranking's never been really that fair, or not that many people cared about the ranking. Let's put it that way.
Eh? The best player in Trackmania United was the player who was first. What are you talking about?
I used to think
that's
that.
a very
I used
dangerous
to.
topic.
And we had 9 people at some point being first. Oh,
In all
I did
fairness-
100,000 LPs in 1 hour and 42 minutes. That's what
Yeah.
Zeus had in there. Just
In all
flexing on all of
fairness,
them.
you used to have, like, at the very least on the online leaderboard, you used to have Danik B there. Danik B, very, very good player. Although
I was also second once.
yeah, he used to have
With 2 wins.
real. He's a bad word now, but
You mean
yeah,
Darth Vader?
You mean Voldemort?
Voldemort. You used to have Voldemort there. Euronix Voldemort.
Hey, don't draw Euronics in that shit, okay?
But then, Shorty, you can say you're like the apprentice, you know.
What? Is that a good thing now? What?
Or Shorty's a Death Eater.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's messed up. But I mean, just to kind of close things out for today, since before we go too far out into the Star Wars or Harry Potter metaverses of Trackmania, I'm just imagining Riolu being in Harry Potter now. That's a really weird thought. But anyway, but yeah, I mean he's Voldemort, so I guess that's just the way it is. But anyway, how if you were to talk about 2022, I feel it's a bad question to say, do you think it'll be a good year for Trackmania, yes or no? Do you look forward to 2022 in Trackmania? Do you think it's going to be a better year than 2021? There's a question for you.
It's hard to be a better year than 2021, actually, because my gear has been so good. So I'm just talking personally and also about Trackmania, so I'm gonna say that. But I hope it will be better for me. And also I mean, it's hard to be better. If it's as good as 2021, I think this will also be fine. Yeah, let's say it like that. But something has to happen. As Shorty said, it's a very decisive year. But we all also said that for 2021, right? We thought that before the game that we're bathing in money next year.
I mean, it was a pretty decisive year, let's be honest. I mean, no year is not decisive in a way. It was the first year of the game being launched, basically. So obviously, it was very decisive, and I think it was turning out quite okay-ish. Not like not super perfect, great, not outrageously good. That's the word I was looking for. Like, it's not like the year hasn't been outrageously good, but it also wasn't really a bad year. It's definitely a good year, but it's just a good year. Like, it's not nothing more than that, I guess. Depending on what kind of things you're looking at. If you're looking at streaming in Trackmania, then obviously it was outrageously good. But yeah, in general, I don't really know how it's. I think it's gonna be a good year again. I just can't picture Trackmania ever being have a bad year, like a horribly bad year or something like that. Trackmania isn't really the game known for something like that. But
We had some bad years, though.
yeah, had some kind of bad years.
Year
Yeah.
without the World Cup.
Oh no! Oh no!
The year with the World Cup in a 10
And a
square
court.
meter room.
Oh no! Yeah, I mean,
And
obviously
the shop
horrible.
cup.
Yeah,
The
the
shop
shop
cup.
The shop
cup.
cup.
Yeah, with the final in a courtroom.
Yeah.
No, there's one thing that I really want, actually. It's a little bit kind of off topic. I wanted to say that like 10 minutes ago, but I didn't really had the chance there. Like, one thing about tournaments I really want to happen. No, it's
I know it was my fault. I know I'm the
it's
one
actually it's not your fault. No.
Wow.
What I really want is a big team tournament. I don't care if it's teams of 2, teams of 3, teams of 8, like, or anything like that. I just want to really like a top tier team tournament, because we have so many solo tournaments. We have a couple of LAN tournaments looking forward to. We have TMGL, but we do really miss a big team tournament, a team event. We have some team events, but they are not like really top tier. Like, we have a couple of really cool events that SRK is also hosting, and also others with some team championships and stuff, but nothing really like top notch, and like nothing where like all the top players compete that gets a lot of attention or something like that. That's something I really want, because I think we are missing that in a way. Trackmania, a couple of years ago, Trackmania used to be team based most of the time. We had like a lot of the most prestigious cups were team competitions at one time. And okay, yes, I know it was tech, but still, the point still stands.
Did you hear it as well? Hello?
I'm just saying, I really want something like that. I mean,
Okay.
TMFL is
Yeah,
kind of
then
going
I-
into the direction, but also TMFL is not really caring about the team. TMFL is also mostly solo event.
I mean, I can just forward something to you after the thing because
Yeah.
there is something. Not sure if I can already leak it.
Officially, maybe not, but you can leak
Well,
it to
I'm
me.
gonna quickly join the Discord where I got invited to. Announcements.
You didn't
Yeah, I
even join
can.
yet.
I can.
Okay.
We are very proud to announce the first season of the Eclipse Mixed Championship. This tournament will be taken on the 20th of November to the 16th of December. The goal is to create the first team mixed championship, as what can be found in tech tournaments, for example, by having different mixed events throughout the year. The first map will be revealed this week, so it will already released. Help us by sharing this Discord, blah blah blah. Yeah, there's your tournament. Jinga talk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know why my thumb's blurry, but
But yeah, I mean, I can just send you the message here, or the Discord, and you
now
can.
I only need a team.
Yeah, I'm just
podcast team. There we go. We'll even get Erwin
I
involved.
don't have time to play those things, unfortunately.
Yeah, you have to cast them.
No, I'm not gonna. Dude, I don't even have time for casting anymore.
Yeah, we are literally
He's busy.
This is a live option of getting big timed by LuckersTurbo. So yeah, Susan,
Wow.
you're on the team. Me, you, and Shorty, and I'm perfectly fine with that. To be honest,
You don't even have the game installed, probably.
She has. Of course, she has. But it's not. It's
She?
running. Huh?
She?
yeah, Susan.
You mean Scotty? Oh god.
Yeah, I can get the game again.
To whom did I talk, huh?
Hey,
Yeah.
for Shorty and Susan, I can get the game.
Ah, do you mean Zuzi? I thought. Yeah, Zuzi. Yeah, Zuzi can play. She was talking the chat. Ah, okay. Oops.
I don't like at this point. I don't even know if you are confused or if I was confused. I don't even know.
We both were, or no one. I think no one of us was confused. We just spoke like you know my underarm bones were like this, and that's what we also did.
Nice. that sounds kind of painful.
Kinda painful. I just stop. I'll just stop here.
Right. Well, I think that's a good idea for all of us as Shorty's starting to break the beer out. So, but
it's the first in 3 weeks.
That's always
an alcoholic. That's an alcoholic would say.
Yeah,
that's the truth at least.
That's also what an alcoholic.
So the truth is that Shorty's an alcoholic then. But anyway, before I get too distracted as well, I think that's going to be it for us tonight. So who will be joining you next week besides Shorty and Turbo? I have no idea. I'm going to leave that to them to figure out. And for once, someone else going to have to think of the fucking name of the podcast, which would be interesting. So if there's no title for next week, you know whose fault it is. But anyway, guys, it has been a pleasure.
We're not going to host it on your channel then? No exposure for you.
I don't care. But I don't fucking stream on my own channel. But anyway, I hope everyone has enjoyed today's Let's Talk Trackmania, and the two beautiful faces to either my left or right will be back once again, and Erwin behind the scenes on behalf of ESAC, once again supplying us in a stellar fashion. I was going to say stellarly, but I don't think that's a word. In a stellar fashion, as always, on behalf of ESAC GG. But thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back same time next week, and a place to be determined with another special face to be determined. But keep an eye on the socials to find out on that, as Turbo's going to rock himself to sleep or not. He looks a little bit manic there. But I hope everyone has a good night. Enjoy the rest of your day, and see you all next time.
Good night.
I always use